Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world. I am Paul Sisler, and this is In the Moment. Hello, hello, hello. Catch us every day, Monday through Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And today we have the flow. And we are we don't have just one artisan of the spirit today. We have two artisans of the spirit because Lee Two Hawks is back. Hello, hello. How are you doing, Lee?
Well, thank you for the introduction. I'm doing marvelous. I hope all that are viewing are blessed and perfect in every way.
Paul, I really am excited to be actually having my by side next to my side here. I really am. So it's kind of like, a little hiatus and welcome back.
Well, that's not what you said before we got on.
This is true.
I'm kidding people. That's my job is be the
No,
humorist.
he's not. He's
Yeah.
he's being he's being truthful on this. We both know Shadow Fox.
Hey now.
Just
All
kidding, just
right. Okay. All right. All right.
yeah, we got a razz on Shadow Fox and all that. It's just part of our daily repertoire now. So
Well, of course, because if you guys didn't, I'd be questioning where you guys went. Seriously, like who are you? Because yeah, it makes life so much more fun, and there's no harm. We cause no harm. We just
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
uh-huh.
We don't argue. We just have facts.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and it's just like you get even. That's all.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
We do it on a point system, actually. Yes.
I have 1,000 points. She has three.
Yes, actually, once in a while, I get 50 points, and yes.
All
Yeah.
right, all right.
So, Paul,
So,
Paul,
so
I
yes.
thought, God,
You thought what?
dead air. No, dead air. Okay, listen. This is what we Lee Two Hawks and I were discussing what to bring forward on the flow today, and we were Lee's going to primarily present and show some stuff with can I say that word?
Synthesis.
Yeah, that one. And synchronicity. And the thing is that so many people keep talking about coincidences and their lives, and all these things are showing up. And so, I just have to ask, is it really a coincidence? Because I like to change that word around a little bit because many times these words keep getting used so much that it waters them down. And is there the coincidences that respond between synchronicity and synthesis? And so Lee Two Hawks is really going to um, bring, let's just say, an expanded view with these terms. I mean, go ahead, look them up on on Google or go to your dictionary. But what he's going to be presenting today, obviously, is going to be encompassing the exposure of energy. So he will be working from his notes.
Yes.
Yes. So he doesn't forget anything.
Okay. In using the word coincidence, we have to remember that the principal part of that term is incident. So you get a bunch of incidents together, then you have coincidence that seem to mesh together. So therefore, that's the found. Anything with CO in front of it means capital offense.
No. Well, the thing with it too is it's like we're making the name up. I mean, I just love to tease about it. So, but please, Lee Two Hawks, would you please, kind of explain or present on the actual definition in its highest regard for synthesis.
All right, first of all, let's try to work synthesis into active the activities we take that involve synchronicity. And then we go into the human aspect, which everybody's um, more or less concerned about or looking into is being somebody on the street you haven't seen for 20 years and you're after the same thing and coincidentally or synchronously uh, be together.
Yeah, because you thought of them or something, or
Right.
you get that phone call,
Mhm.
you're thinking of somebody, and it's like, oh my goodness, and then they call.
Yeah, but what we must remember when the person, an engineer, puts together a machine, all those machines have to be synchronized. So when, like in a gear mechanism, when a large gear meets a little gear, you got to make sure that the teeth of that gear are going to synchronize the movements, the two movements. One will be large, one will be small. So you synchronize the teeth so that they mesh together. That is one form of synchronicity. All right. Another one is sound waves. Ooh, look at that.
Oh
Huh?
my!
Yeah. All right. So we have this synchronicity of sound waves that happens all the time. First of all, it's a synchronicity of the rhythm and vibration of the voice or the item making the sound. In that, there has to be another, what I call corresponding, corresponding vibration or corresponding meeting in space. So then we also have the light waves, which are the same thing. When light waves build upon each other, you get what's called indigo. If you measure all the major light waves you might see in a rainbow, put them together, and I used to do artwork, and I failed miserably. Yes, I did. Uh-huh. And but you put all you get basically an indigo color with the right mixture. If you put too much yellow in or too much orange or anything like that, then it will not come out. So, what I call light waves are photonic similitude. Right? So there's a meeting together of light waves that cause us to see form. Without that synchronicity of light forms upon that form at that time, that form doesn't exist. When you walk out of a room, does that room exist still? Of course it does. Yeah, it's an illusion anyhow, but it's an illusion which we are fixed upon as human entities here on this earth. But we won't go into that. That's a whole different story. Okay, so these things occur. Basic synchronicity is occurring at the same time. And camera, you want to the click of the camera with the lighting or with the object being pictured. And so there is that synchronization there. So what happens when, oh, this is the more interesting part because it comes into the human realm. Notes. Not the writing down of paper of words or sentences out of that kind of notes, but like in music notes. There's a basic note of matter, the stuff our physical form is built upon. There's a basic note of
Whoops, apparently we have lost connection with Shadow Fox and Lee Two Hawks. So let's give this a second and see what happens. I don't know if they were having some storms up there or whatnot, but anyways, we'll give them a moment. A little technical difficulty here. Oh, I might have to give them a call. Yep, we lost connection completely. Let's see if they come back here. I apologize for the interruption on this. Lee was just getting into it. So we will see what happens. Diana Bishop says, I think of how a piano, one note is not harmonious with another until you add a third. And then you have a chord. Absolutely, Diana. Absolutely. Oh, are you back?
Can you? Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Oh, you
Oh my
lost
goodness. Okay.
connection.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. Oh well. Hey, when you get the two of us together, usually the computer stuff really goes haywire. It's happened and it does. So
It's
go
all of
ahead.
that energy and all that. You started to go out and then it froze up and then you kind of left completely. During that time, Diana said, uh-oh. And then she said, I think of how a piano, one note is not harmonious with another until you add a third. And then she says, then you have a chord. Then you have a chord.
Yeah.
So yes. So
Yeah.
Lee, go ahead and continue.
I don't know where I dropped off at except the end of the world. It is flat, by the way. So, uh,
It could be. It could only be a half.
maybe it's hexagonical. I don't know.
We could give it a rest.
All right, so I don't know where I dropped off at. Notice Spirit. Did you get that one?
No, no, come up. Just redo the part with the musical note.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
Yes.
that's
Yes.
basically okay. Then the note of spirit overcomes the note of matter. Remember, I mentioned prior to that, matter has its basic note. Now, the sun has a basic. We're talking about synchronization here, okay? All these things have to be synchronized. They have to be equalized and vibrationally potent enough to bring it into the frame of our particular physical existence. Um, so the sun overcomes the note of all things concerning this particular solar system. And that includes all the planets and all the environments thereof. So if the sun gets out of sync with its forms of planets within its system, those planets are going to collide. Gravitational pull will be disrupted, and who knows what will truly happen. Life will be extinguished to a great deal. So synchronization is critical. Now keep that in mind when we get to the fact of the effect and affect it has on human coincidence.
Yeah. So this is that much bigger sphere of the mechanisms that are very interconnected and interrelated regarding the synchronicity. Okay, go ahead.
Well, she had asked me to give a definition. These are definitions.
Yeah.
These are examples of a definition.
Yeah.
Okay, they're examples, and my preference is not to go to the dictionary, although I did for this particular term and look it up, but to give examples of how it works in our so-called real world. Now, the human body also has its own note. So when one note of a human meets a note of another human being, accidentally or coincidentally, it, it becomes synchronous. Okay? So what happens in that synchronicity when this happens? Is there a joyful greeting? Is there, I told you, get out of my life forever, what we're doing here? Even though.
So that creates that because it is like a note, so it creates that resonance, like the playing off of each.
All these terms, frequency, vibration, resonance, come into play with this whole thing. It's like a whale can hear another whale miles and miles and miles away.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing as things go through our atmosphere. Thoughts go through the atmosphere. There's a teleplay actually within the atmosphere where even pictorially things are transmitted.
So
I know I'm getting out of whack.
no. I'd like to ask you a question because when we're looking at the synchronicity, we're seeing that larger picture, and then all of a sudden, what can throw a wedge or a wrench a monkey wrench into that gear shifts? Would it be stuff as the discordant thoughts, the anger, the bitterness, the frustration, those discordant emotional aspects that we carry?
It's what I would call warping.
Okay.
If a metal wheel warps, it will not synchronize with the other wheel that's supposed to meet in mesh their teeth together. So warpage is exactly what she said. It's the things we do as human beings. It's the emotional content we display each and every day to a certain extent. Some more than others, some more balanced and in equilibrium, much less.
So because we have that note, we have that resonance, and it
Yes.
sets up in the atmosphere.
Mhm.
And again, we're going to go back to eons of humans being on the planet with fear and rage and war and domination and all those human constructs. So wouldn't that those thought forms like be in the atmosphere that can truly, trigger us? We could be going along our day and just having a gay old time, and then all of a sudden, perhaps we are sometimes being influenced by that those thought forms that are out there, because that would also play in with that synchronicity. Because if that were the case and say all that was cleared, there would be no war, there would be no despair or illness. We would be in a let's say a zone or a field of energy that is peace or stillness.
There is what's called, basically what you're describing as mass consciousness, but more than just simply what we consider as consciousness. It is also a sentiency or a sense, a
Mhm.
sensibility
Okay.
that we carry in being susceptible, if that's a correct term. It's kind of negative, susceptible to those forces and energy
Mhm.
of which those things are. Disdain, dismay, discordance, all the disses in the world, dissonance,
Dishonest,
okay,
yeah.
and dissonance itself. And so these things are there, but there are so many other things which I won't go into, or she'll
Yeah.
kick me out. All right. So let me, yeah, well, it's true. It's true. I got a sore butt from being kicked so many times.
It wasn't me. I just come up with that, that those cast iron fry pans.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those are good. I mean, my guys whack me up overside the head of it all the time. So.
Yeah, you've used those
I
on
get
me,
the-
but every time you do, they bend.
Yeah, I get a black eye, and
No.
oh, we're teasing guys.
Yeah.
And just go ahead.
All right. Let me just give this forward and see. Maybe there's just questions viewers have, and it'd be interesting to see their take on any of this. I kind of worked from the top down, and how does this affect consciousness? My view has always been global and even expanded beyond that. The only way I can think of something, a term, and how it affects or how it resonates throughout the globe, throughout the population,
Yeah.
and to the creatures, great and small, that we are responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, when every unit of consciousness, we are a unit, so to speak, of consciousness. So is a squirrel. Animals have more of a sentiency than a consciousness. So we'll consider that a human construct. When every unit of consciousness coordinates with a planetary design, okay, so there's a particular design to this planet, and it is headed by a hierarchy of beings. So we're not going to get into that. And then the solar rhythm, because the solar has to establish a rhythm, movement of the planet around the sun.
Synchronicity.
That's all the planets, and all that is held in place, one planet with another planet. There has to be a certain degree of synchronous play. All right. As all the planets ride as one, But that's it. See, oh my God, the word one, capital O-1-E. Anyhow, we won't go into that either. And this one, I was synchronized with all this. The solar system, the sun, the planets are synchronized with what might be called the cosmic design.
Mm-hmm.
We have a solar design, we have a galactical design, and then we have, well, a universal design, and then a cosmic design.
So can I ask, when you were speaking about that part of the synchronicity, and the Earth rotates, the sun shines its light, so we go from morning, dawn, morning, dusk, and then evening, and it has that rhythm to it, right? That would also be under the umbrella, so to speak, of that synchronicity. So that everything is flowing um, uh, in perfect divine order, basically.
What's the name of this program?
The flow.
Exactly.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
See. So, as we look and we again, there's been so much that's been said about synchronicity this and synchronicity that. I think that if we can consider when we notice something like that happens in our lives, it's not necessarily a coincidence, because there really aren't any coincidences. It just comes forward within that flow, right? In that we're looking at that large, expanded view. And so it's like when people speak about this, sometimes they use it like it just gets watered down. And we're just trying to bring a little bit of cohesion into the larger framework, the micro and the macro. But I don't know if you're ready to speak on
synthesis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's for a moment.
Okay.
I don't think, in all the work and looking into this and that, and my own outside myself, it drives me crazy. But just what do you do with it? All right. So you build on it, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't think anything can exist without a certain syncretic movement, without a certain resonance, without what we call frequency and resonance. All these things are part of everything. And what limits that, and that's the human limitation specifically, because otherwise we'd all be living synchronicity. Another name for that is brotherhood. Oh my gosh. Another name for that, oh my gosh, is unity. Another thing for that is synthesis.
It comes to mind now. Just hear me out for a second, because Lee Tuhawk said brotherhood. We have sisterhood. We have a neighborhood. How many hoods are there? Think about it. The most valuable essence of many of the things. Think about a car. Where are the major components in the gear shifts? Is under the hood, right? So when we look at brotherhood, sisterhood, motherhood, fatherhood, neighborhood, all the hoods that you can name out there, think about how this synchronicity actually is related within synthesis. Okay, so it's like I think all the vital components truly are found under the hood.
Now, seeing as we're going to adjust to another term,
Sorry.
okay, that has been brought forward and mentioned a couple times. The other part of this program, well, first of all, Paul, is there any questions that may be being asked, or your own thoughts?
I'm going to wait until after you do synthesis, because I do have some inquiries that I'm going to make. So I'm going to wait until you finish, and then I'm going to bring it all together.
Do you have 3 hours? No.
Yes.
I don't. We're getting okay. Go ahead.
like I had mentioned briefly, I make the attempt to deal from the macro to the micro instead of the micro to the macro. But you almost have to do both things because they're necessary to get a defined sensibility as to what really is happening here on this earth, within us, we as humans. How are we connected with everything on earth? And then how are we connected to even further octaves or dimensions? So the top, very top definition of synthesis, even though it abides in different modalities, et cetera, is, I'm going to read this. This is mine, but it's colluded or collaborative. No, it's brought together by many different aspects.
Aspects. It's condensed.
Yes. Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah.
Hey, I'm good for something every once
See,
in a while.
I had the dense, she had the con, so it became condensed.
Is that a coincidence that she jumped in at that right time to fix that? No.
Yeah. Exactly. See? Perfect. Oh man, what a punch. Oh yeah.
Well, we live together, so that happens quite a bit. All right.
Yeah, but he threw in coincidence.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
I think you threw coincidence first, then he did. Okay.
Well.
Synthesis. All right. The very first indication of synthetic design was, ready, original sound. The first utterance of creator. It is a calling forth of manifestation. What is manifestation? Every damn thing we see, every damn thing we are, everything we know and don't know is a manifestation of this one synthesis in its multiple aspects. Then we get into different cosmos, different universes, different
Atoms.
planets, down to the atoms, breaking the atom apart, and then creating great bombs which blow everything up anyhow. So there you are. There's also a calling back, and this is to be understood. It is also a calling back of the scattering worlds to unity, to the wholeness. It is the going forth and the coming home.
Oh, now hang on just a moment. Because you said bringing all of that into unity and coming home. So if we're looking at what was described, within that synchronicity, and we're speaking on energy and the thought forms and everything else, and brotherhood and sisterhood and everything under the hood, everything under the sun, that is that calling together to resonate within that construct. It truly is, and of coming home, of recognizing, who we truly are. Also, there's a portion of that.
I think we can understand every qualitative term that we assess towards our environment, towards ourselves, can be regarded as a movement towards a greater synthesis.
Can you read that definition again in case somebody's really trying to?
I'm trying to still figure it out. Are you kidding? Oh, okay.
Well, before you do that, Diana asked, was the sound created by creator created outward or inward?
It was a forward movement. In other words, expressed.
Expressed.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Let there be light. Sound was first. So therefore we have sound, light, and then matter.
Well, look at the terms we use. We use om as a sound. For us, that's a manifestation of a settlement or a quality of spiritual resonance. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then there's Om Mani Padme Hum. I mean, there's a lot of phrases developed by India and the Far East that have helped them actually come. If we can get together with what the Far East through centuries has created and what the Far West has created and bring those into unity, we would have a synthesis of great founding.
And that comes down to that stepping in and understanding. It's not like just one religion is the only way. It's kind of like those little bits and pieces of where there are great accuracies and coming together within the whole, because then you're creating that, bringing synchronicity from many different formats into a unified sense of this.
Well, then we get into terms like understanding and interpretation, which is because we have that facility mentally of analysis.
We also have misunderstanding.
That's what I'm saying.
Misinterpretation.
You can misanalyze something.
Yes.
And scientists know this because they missed so much
Just
in their misinterpretation.
just read
read this
that
one thing
for,
again.
for
Okay.
anyone that just read through it.
Okay. The very first
Synthesis.
synthesis.
Yes.
They don't have synth the brother. They have synthesis.
Yeah. The divine feminine power here. Ooh.
The very first indication of synthetic design. In other words, there's something prior to that was not synthesized. There was just floating around, just unconnected, not united, not brought together. So Schrader decided, well, let's put this stuff together, man, so that other life can find form. The very first indication of synthetic design was original sound. Pay attention to the word, original. The first utterance of creator. And therefore, that's why I would say it was projected outward. An utterance cannot be an interior thing. It has to be expressed outwardly.
Mm-hmm.
It is a calling forth of manifestation in its multiple aspects. It is also a calling back of the scattering worlds to unity, to wholeness. It is a going forth and a coming home.
Yep. So that would be the condensed version within this esoteric understanding of synthesis.
Right. Okay. Yeah, go on.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the notes. I can't read them. I
Yeah.
can't read his writing.
No, I tend to scribble and anyhow.
He should have been a doctor.
Yeah. There is a synthesis, by the way, in consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Recognition that life, which is consciousness expressed outwardly, recognition that life is love. In other words, love, if you have life, love exists in all galaxies, all universes. It is the connecting, what's that called when they put a stone in when you start building? It's the primary
Keystone.
Keystone. It's connecting keystone. Love. And it's a...
I'm on the ball with this, you know.
You are on the ball.
I really am. It's like I really have to read his mind to see where he's going with it, so I can interject and interrupt every once in a while. But
that reminds me of that 50s song. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. Da, 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 da.
I
Okay,
don't know
okay.
that song. Sorry, guys. Or you can just go back and re-edit this. He never re-edits.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That life is love as a qualitative. Why do I keep using that term? Qualitative.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
qualifying something. To just say something without qualifying it, it means it has truly no meaning, nor is it understood in the manner in which you're expressing it.
Okay, here's the difference. You know, we may say there's people that say for we say the highest and the best. Other people may say the highest and the good. Well, when you think about it, what is good? Good, you have to qualify. You can have two people on two different thoughts, okay? Political scenes, one on one side, one on another, and each one says, well, this is good. Well, how do we know if it's good? And so we can qualify and choose a higher octave by saying, you know, this is for humanity. the highest and the best, because good will always require a judgment. And it depends on someone's position for which they stand under their own belief structures, under the human construct. So when people say for the highest and the good, then that means that for that specific framework from hence they work. But to qualify it and qualify it in the largest scope possible, it would be this is done for the highest and the best of humanity, and it covers all laws. The part with the word, the terminology, such as, this is for the highest and the good. Who's good?
Yeah.
Good is always a qualifier. It's either good or it's bad. Or maybe somewhere in the middle, it's kind of like, come see, come see. I might like it, I might not like it. Yeah, So recognize that this is that part where we speak about qualifications and the qualifications of how the words resonate, the synchronicity to them, that flow, the synthesis of the words. They carry vibration, just like the very beginning. It was sound that went across. So, what sound, what frequency, and what resonance are we choosing to bring forward? So, when I'm speaking, I will always speak from the larger component, just like how Lee Tuhawk says he sees this large and then breaks it down. So, the highest and the best covers pretty much all of the cosmic, any of the spiritual and natural laws, universal laws. So I just had to make that point because I'd like to bring it back to right here today. How are we dealing with things? How are we qualifying things? And when we have a bias towards something, you're going to find somewhere in there it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. It's going to carry a positive charge or a negative charge. It's going to be vibrationally, it's going to be expansive, or it's going to be contractive. So go ahead. Sorry, I had to put that in there.
Well, this is good because you did an excellent. Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Diane Bishop asked, is not best an extenuation of good? And then she follows it up with, does best not mean a better good? And
No.
my view on this is that good is just meeting expectations. It's
Yes,
just
exactly, which is a qualifier.
right.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I'm not beating you. I'm not calling you names.
Yeah.
But I'm not going out of my way to make things better for you. Where best is not only are you not calling someone names, you're smiling, you're helping them, you're giving aid,
Yeah.
you're doing things. So there's a difference between good just being average, meeting
Well,
expectations.
when
Best
we're
is
looking at
ultimate.
when we're looking at the best, we step back. We go into that 0 point where we are the observer. So we're not making a judgment call on anything because your best may be far different than what my best for me is. Okay, I may not choose to eat meat. You may choose to eat meat. So for the highest and best, here's a meal. Whatever you have chili with meat and you have chili without meat. Here you go. You get to choose. You get to qualify what is best for you. Both of those chilies could taste really good.
Both are good.
Do you see the difference?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, when I get chili, I get a Coke. But that's
No, when he eats chili, I run for the hills.
Yeah. Wait till I make you guys a chili and all that. Oh my goodness. I tell you, I make the best chili.
That's a judgment now.
yeah.
Okay, go
And it
ahead.
will be qualified with first bite.
Yeah, see, if you like it hot. Now, if you don't care for it hot, that may not, be the best for me. Okay,
Okay.
let him continue and
Let
Yes.
me first say that there would be no discordant or misunderstanding of proper terms like right understanding, right thought.
Mhm.
There'd be no difficulty in that if the love of which I speak about, which has been spoken about, that eternal thing that is ever there, of which everything, that love was given in the construction of everything out there. If that love exists in you, you would know the truth. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The
There would
capital T truth.
there would be no question. And again, because that is that light, it is that fire that beats our hearts.
So when someone says, both of you having that love, I wish you the best, they would understand immediately that you meant only the best.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Qualitative manifestation and unfoldment of conscious awareness. I use the term unfoldment instead of higher consciousness, unfolding consciousness, because the consciousness is already there. All we got to do is start unwrapping it so that we can see what it is and know more and feel more and get more and by golly, get going. Yeah, no, oh, I'm sorry.
And it is a constant unfoldment. You unfold one layer, and then guess what? Then there's another layer. Just like with the consciousness that I spoke about, the difference between good and best.
I know I've only gone through one sentence.
Yeah, I saw that. Sorry, guys.
Okay. No, this is great. I'm glad
Okay.
you're doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Our or the human response develops an exquisite quality in this love of which I speak. Life, love, same. There's the same thing. If you truly understand it, the quality. So you develop an exquisite quality of sentient perception
Mhm.
beyond perception itself. Now that seems like a contradiction, but it's one of those things you gotta think about just a little bit.
Mind experiment?
Perception beyond perception. How can that even happen? Yeah. And so,
Ow, that hurts. I'm thinking, ow.
oh, not involving thought while unfolding the word again, an extensive field of context, which units are synthesized into a capacious or enlarged, is what capacious means, entirety. Thus, the person now lives a life beyond ordinary measure.
Oh my, you should read that whole thing again.
You want me to?
Just go straight down with no interjections. Just straight down.
Okay.
And what is this you're reading?
My work. Yeah.
What? See, that's why he has notes. Oh my. Oh, jeez, God.
Well, there used to be a time I had a mental trap memory. You tell me once, I would know it, and I would keep it, and I would memorize it. Aging has not given me that ability, so I have to use my notes. What do I do with all my notes?
Oh, you have them right here.
Okay.
But read this part because this has to do with synthesis.
Yes, it does have to do with the whole thing is on synthesis.
I know that, but just read
Okay.
through it.
There's a synthesis in consciousness, recognition that life is love, synonymous terms, as a qualitative manifestation and unfoldment of conscious awareness. Our or the human response develops an exquisite quality of sentient perception beyond perception itself, not involving thought, while unfolding an extensive field of contacts, plural, which units are synthesized into a capacious or enlarged entirety. Thus, the person now lives a life or love beyond ordinary measure.
Wow. Talk about a mouthful. But it's like take any one of those and just try to wrap your head around it. And it's like, wow, the many multifaceted aspects to this and wow.
Well, maybe this will help clarify. I'm just going to read a little further here.
Wow.
What is awakened is a manifestation of, here comes the term, universality.
Mhm.
a fusion, if you will. What we consider a pair of opposites may no longer appear as such. Due to what is now hidden becoming revealed to a consciousness awash in revelation, or what is called the hidden glory.
Ooh, oh,
I have a whole nother page.
hidden glory. Well, we're getting up there on
Okay.
time, so
Okay, what is the development? Through love and understanding life. Okay. That's the development of these old terms, and everybody knows what they are. Discrimination. Being able to tell a good thing from not so good thing. Or let me also express this because it's down somewhere, but I remembered it. Oh my gosh, I feel so good. Anyhow, so we see something in your life as good. You see something, you interpret it as being not so good. Guess what? In this kind of love, you love each. I'll leave it at that. Okay. Development of the power and depth of thought. In other words, allowing yourself to get a little deeper instead of skimming the surface of things. Just go a little bit deeper. Investigate. Interrogate yourself. Interrogate the terms used.
or the belief you
Or the
hold.
belief. Yeah, thank you. And develop a high-powered sense of values. A higher standards regulating self, the group, the nation, the globe. Transactions with life forms, i.e., animal, vegetable, minerals, which allow for a meaningful exchange, leading to a quickened evolution of all.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Acknowledgement and participation in the law of loving understanding, which is the advent of brotherly, sisterly love, working towards a world of harmony and peace. So there is that, I don't want to use the term lower, that is reflective love, which we have as mates, as we have for family, which we have as we
For
call it
humanity.
for the brotherhood and sisterhood, or for entire humanity. That building, when you get to that point where you can recognize humanity as an extension of yourself, you're building and understanding that love. You're still a microcosm of the greater thing, but you're building towards it.
So doesn't peace, I mean, even by its proper definition, that peace, is that really where peace is found within the synthesis and within the synchronicity of these energies coalescing together
There would
within
be
the silence?
that empowerment of self-silence.
Mm-hmm.
Peace is a reflection of that content, that silence that exists. What do we mean by silence? It's being open to everything that's out there and being able to allow it to influx our bodies. And with the love we carry, we interpret it correctly.
Aha. Yeah.
Okay, this is synthesis, a reflection of the original, the first thing I read, the original synthetic sound by Creator. That's all I got, guys.
That's not
Excellent.
That's all he's gonna give. That's all he's gonna give right now.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
Wait, let me give this one sentence,
oh,
okay?
oh, oh.
Okay. Go
Okay,
ahead.
love, wisdom, the two connected. Love, wisdom is that synthetic whole, one of the lower synthetics, that synthetic whole which demonstrates cosmic love, transforming in human terms as a mere reflection, demonstrative of love as family, partner, center. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Now, of course, we had faithful friend come in. Are better and gooder in there someplace? Yes, they are. I'll explain that in a moment. And Bryce, of course, said, "Love the show. Great job, all," because we know he's getting for his stomach space. So, anyways, I love everything that you put out there, and I'm going to try to do it in a layman's terms and bridge together some things that maybe some people may not get. But
Yep.
I want to show you how I understand things, and then you guys can, of course, say, "Hey, Paul, absolutely," or "No, let me explain this to you."
Right.
So, in that synchronicity that you're talking about and all that, you brought in the gears, and those gears, if best, they fit together in sync perfectly. Okay. And that would be the best right there. So when you have people that are running on frequencies and vibrations and they interact with each other and they come along and, oh, look at that. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? And they're going to have that connection. And as we were talking about, like before the show and all that, oh, I think I'm going to call Darla today. Oh, wow, Darla's calling. Oh, my goodness. Because you have that connection, you're thinking about each other. But then you have discord that comes along, and it
Yeah,
doesn't
like this, a fist.
there's no perfect fit. Discord's in the way. Discord's in the way. Now, there are people out there that have this belief because they also have discord. And when two discords come together, it appears to be in sync.
Yes, and it tends to validate each other's thoughts.
Yes, enhance that human construct. And this is why when you're having those, say for instance, someone has an unguarded moment or has not like totally has the idea of awakened consciousness or developing, unfolding of consciousness.
Mhm.
So they can be very, very susceptible to the energies around them. I mean, for instance, you can see it take place when you're looking at riots, even. Okay, there may be some protesters here, and all of a sudden the energy starts building, 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 and all of a sudden you got this mob going somewhere. That is because those discordant energies, the frustration, the anger, the hatred,
Right.
the you know,
It gives the appearance of
me against everybody.
synchronicity. It
Right.
gives an appearance, but it's not the best. It's not
No,
the best.
but it will remove you from that loving flow of energy, the loving essence.
Correct.
You,
That's what I'm
yeah.
getting to. That's what I'm
Yep.
getting to. Because even though it appears like it's in sync and it's all working good, because that connection seems like it's there, it's aligned and it fits, but those gears are not fit there in the best way possible. So
Right.
they're going to wear and tear
Another
on each
way,
other, and they're going to grind down, and eventually they're going to break. You have to eliminate the discord.
Well, here's a perfect thing is if you take a look into even the human body when an illness steps in, okay, and come on, there's been doctors, they've been doing all this research. It is a great dance is what happens. So if you're looking at a virus or a bacterium or something that is in the human body and there is discord, what happens is all of those pieces come together and then it builds. Oh, good. Yeah. I'm this virus. I'm going to mess over here. And then guess what? Another bacterium can come in and now we're going to have a raging thing going around within our bodies. And then our temperature goes up. We're sick. That is that aspect that we can actually attribute and think about within our own body, because any illness, disease, injury, even within the physical body, is discordant energy. It is something that is
Right.
out of homeostasis, and so even that homeostasis is that kind of the marriage between synthesis and the synchronicity, and there is no coincidence. It might be a coincidence. Okay, I do like the dink,
Right. What I'm trying to get out there though is that interlocking might seem like it's perfect, that it's a good thing, that it's working, but those gears are going to grind down because they're not linked perfectly, because discord is in the way. And
Is it for the good and the best?
what's that?
Good or best?
Well,
No, I'm serious because you're talking about that discord and they're interlinking, right? So we
right,
could consider that would be the good, but the best would be for that to disseminate, be
right,
dismantled.
correct. That's the point I'm getting to. It's only good because it seems like it's in sync, and you might think it's the best, but it's
Yes.
because that discord is still in there. And even though it works well together, and you seem like you think you have everything going good, it's only an illusion
Mhm.
because you still have that discord in there. It's like when you brought up when you have that bacterial infection or something, you know, your body has to work to get rid of it because you might think that you're working best and you can still go out and do what you're doing, but your body says, no, we got to get that discord out so that you
Uh,
can be the best. And you might need
yes.
more of the good
Yes.
to be able to get the bad out,
Yes.
and that's where if you take care of if you keep love and kindness in there, that's
Mhm.
where you get this.
Mhm.
Because once you throw discord in there, even though it might seem like it's perfect, it's not.
Yes.
And that's where I was trying to get with the whole um, synchronicity and all that. There's times where you come across somebody in your life and you might think that they're good for you, but just watch for that discord. And if you can't, if the two of you can't eliminate that discord, then you're going to end up separating. And that means that discord's still out there.
Mhm. You
Okay.
know, Paul, you might have a really good time. Maybe that person is good for you for a certain duration so that there's something that you can learn from that relationship. But it
Yes.
doesn't mean that that relationship is the best
Thank
because
you. Yes.
it will be the best once the lesson, once you've had the experience, once you've learned the lesson, and then you can integrate it or apply it, and then darn well stay away from that form of relationships. Like could be, what do they call it? Um, oh, what's the word, Paul? Not, never mind. Help me
Cohabitating.
out. No, no, it's a negative form of being together. They coexist, but what's the word?
I don't know, coalescence.
No, 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 no. I know somebody in,
Coexist.
huh? No,
Coexist.
no, you know what? I'll probably find out I'll remember it when we're doing
You'll
this.
remember when it codependent. Faithful
Yes,
friend
thank
says
you. That's
codependent.
it. Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Right. That's what I mean. So that this person may suit you during
Time of
this
codependency.
time of, yes. And so you may have been brought together, synchronicity, synch, say the word
Synchronicity.
Yes.
Synchronous.
Yes, well, being brought together, but it's for both to
To
learn, to
learn.
exchange, and to grow. And as you guys can grow, then perhaps that dependency upon each other can be separated out. And like Lee was speaking about, you can take a look at that very, very large picture of what we are trying to present and break it down into those increments. Because in order to step into the flow, in order to step in and reduce those constructs that we have in our emotional bodies, okay, our
Yes.
mental thoughts, the emotional garbage and baggage, we get to choose. We can truly, truly place a focus somewhere and say, never again will I give my power away to another by being drawn into an argument or fight. There you go.
And that's
Well,
where you
we're getting very close to an older dictum, which is kind of drawing away from the original
Yeah.
substance of what we were trying to say. Uh, but however, the idea of trying to drive a bent nail in order to create a solidified surface
Yeah.
or construction and right now we have about 7 billion people out of 8 billion people driving bent nails.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a cohesive structure.
Yep.
Right. And the point that I was trying to get to is the first person that we have to become in sync with is self.
Absolutely.
And this is from the teachings that I now try to teach, that I've learned from you and all that. Even though it's something that I've been doing, I now utilize it. Instead of being self-serving, we must first serve self. And serving self is the most important thing, because we can't serve anybody else until we can first serve self.
Yeah, in a healthy way. Yeah. So if service comes first, it's a go. If self-serving, so self comes first, then it's not, because we are here to be of service. And that self-serving can be self-sabotage, can be, I mean, there's so many different things. We go, oh yeah, we could do self-empowerment. Well, self-empowerment would fall under the heading of serving self in a healthy way. Ah, so and service to others. So those are the three. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, my function is done, so I'm going to get out of here.
No, you gotta sit. You gotta sit and wait until he shuts the camera off.
That's right. And I just wanted to say thank you, because I consistently and constantly, and every time I listen to you two speak, I always pick up something new, something important, something fresh, something that just helps me along the way, And I know I go out there with a lot of confidence, and I know I go out there and I present a lot of things, but the one thing that I can admit is that I am still learning. I am still learning. And the person that says they have nothing else to learn is lying to themselves. So,
boy, you aren't kidding.
Yeah.
And Paul, it truly is a great honor to be able to do this. And so what we were speaking about is just to, plant those seeds that there is so much more. We can't just, throw these words out like lily dilly and not really recognize the power and the energy that is truly propelling them. If we can form in our minds that comprehension or that expanded or unfoldment of that awareness, then guess what? Just this alone can propel us forward to think, well, wait a minute. How is this playing in my life? What does this energy mean? This is why we decided to create this segment of the flow. And it is to help bring these ideas and this information forward, to help people, assist people on their path, on their journey, because there's all kinds of nuances out there. And if we're not aware of them, then we're just going to be stuck.
Yeah.
And so there are so many energy tools, so many ways to think about it. And I just have to say, Lee Two Hawks, thank you so very much.
Yes.
For bringing this forward and presenting it. And so it's just a slightly different perception, and it may propel someone to really start asking questions of themselves. So
I hope you recognize yourself as a creative thinker. Let me qualify that. What is the creative thinking? A creative thinker is someone who brings something forward that was not there before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. And maybe next week we can talk about stoicism and spirituality and so important together.
I think that would be pretty. Yes, I do.
What was the first word? Syllogism.
Stoicism.
Okay, because there's the word syllogism.
But Paul, thank you very much, and for anyone who's listening, Diana Bishop and I, we will be doing the Journey Within, and that happens at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time on Twitter X. It is in the Spaces. So it is called Journey Within. We do hope you guys will be able to join us. And Paul, take it away.
And right now, I have my show on Mondays with Benny, the Stoic Padawan, who on Twitter Spaces currently right now has a show going on that I will be going into and probably speaking in there. So that's where you'll catch me. Wednesdays, we have The Flow. Thursdays, Who Wrote the Bill? Fridays, the Vellum, and Saturday, Democratic Philosophy. Make sure you join me Monday through Saturday, 1
And
p.m.
the
Eastern.
and Journey Within is also on Saturday at
Yes,
3:30.
Journey Within is also on Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific. So I want to tell everybody thank you. And remember, be kind, be happy, and make good things come your way. Thank you.
Just remember, sometimes it's smoke and mirrors, and you got to recognize what is smoke and what is mirrors.
Yeah.
Yep. Meow.